The Phillies finally being relevant again after an 11-year postseason hiatus was the worst thing opposing teams in Major League Baseball could let happen, because they have awoken a dangerous animal, their fans. They are absolutely insane. Whether it's in a good or bad way is up to you, as it's all about perspective, but they are wild as hell. I mean, we knew Philly people were crazy anyway when it comes to any of their sports. They go all out, will boo, harp on anyone they don't like, and will cheer the loudest for the people and the things that they do enjoy. So we've all heard nonstop about how crazy the Phillies' home field advantage is, how loud and intense their fans get. It's been talked about a lot, obviously, but apparently now even when the Phillies now go on the road, there's no escaping the madness. Will you have 40+ thousand Philadelphians waving red towels going berserk? No, but these fans are going to find and think of any way they can to screw over the other team, even if they actually can't be there for it. So the Phillies are of course taking on the D-backs and mostly dominated the first two games, absolutely just blowing them out relentlessly in game 2 to take a 2-0 series lead, and it was now time to fly out west to Phoenix, Arizona. Going back to games 1 and 2 though quickly, the getting in price for tickets, in other words, the cheapest way of getting into the ballpark for game 1 was $278. $278. That was the cheapest ticket, and almost 600% higher than the cheapest ticket in Houston to see the Astros play the Rangers. So I wanted to make it clear how insanely expensive it was to be at Citizens Bank Park for games 1 and 2 for the NLCS, especially compared to not just the Astros-Rangers series, but also the cost of the NLCS games in Arizona for games 3, 4, and 5. The cheapest ticket for game 2 at Philly was $140. The cheapest ticket for game 3 of the NLCS at Chase Field in Arizona, $9. I mean, that is just an absurd difference. Now, obviously, Arizona isn't and hasn't ever necessarily been looked at as one of the best sports towns there is. It's not a bad one. They do support their teams, especially when they win. It's not like there's no fans, but D-backs fans and Arizona sports fans obviously aren't looked at in the same light as Phillies and Philadelphia sports fans. So it makes sense tickets were cheaper, although a $131 difference between the cheapest tickets from the two teams is insane. But I don't think the D-backs should be getting necessarily clowned on for this. It's a good thing that tickets are cheap. That should never really be a bad thing. It means it gives more people the opportunity to go to the game no matter how much they make. But anyway, so where was I? Ticket prices. Oh yeah, Phillies fans causing problems even when the team isn't home. So get this, with the tickets being as cheap as they are, combined with the ruthlessness of Philly fans, some of them decided to come up with a plan to hurt the D-backs' attendance for Game 3. A man announced to his friends on Facebook that he had bought 20 tickets to the game. Wow, must be a big party of his going. Well, that would have been the case if this guy were a normal person. But the reality is that he wasn't even able to go to the game, but bought those 20 tickets because he quote-unquote still wanted to do my part by making their stadium empty, and cause F them. Oh, but he wasn't the only one doing this. I am buying 3 tickets for tonight's game in Arizona to ensure 3 seats are open. I'm playing chess, anything to help the Phillies. Then there's this one that I found hilarious. Good morning to everyone except Arizona. I just bought 14 tickets for Game 3 in Arizona to assure that there will be 14 less loser Diamondback fans. If there are any Phillies fans out there in Arizona in need of a ticket, shoot me a DM. No charge, will accept a donation if you feel so obliged. My first thought here is, what the hell did Arizona and the Diamondbacks ever do to you? Like, this seems personal to this dude, and really to everyone who's doing this, buying tickets to prevent D-backs fans from going. You'd think a bunch of Diamondbacks fans jumped and robbed these people before stealing their dogs while the entire Diamondbacks team watched it laughing. It seems so personal. They're acting like the Phillies have some historic, insane rivalry with the Diamondbacks. Like, what is this? I just found that funny. Like, he's going so aggressive, like, damn you, Diamondbacks? But then again, I also got to keep remembering that this is Philly sports fans we're talking about here. They hate anyone and everyone who their team plays. I get that. But damn, man. The D-backs? I've never heard or seen anyone have that much hatred for this team like these fans, especially that last guy. At this point, if you put together a baseball team full of puppies and they played against the Phillies, I'm convinced Phillies fans would be like, screw you puppies, you guys suck, go to hell. My first thought on the fans doing this is that it's kind of loser behavior. It's obviously extremely petty, especially when this is taking place against the freaking Diamondbacks, not some team that would even make sense to hate. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the most egregious worst thing ever though, and these fans deserve prison time or anything like that. No need to be super dramatic. At the end of the day, it's pretty harmless stuff and won't really affect anything regarding the actual overall attendance and what happens on the field, which is also why it's incredibly dumb to do this in the first place. In reality, buying several tickets just to keep them empty isn't going to do much, considering most of the tickets were sold anyway beforehand, and it was inevitable that a bunch of Phillies fans were going to be at the game anyway, because that was another thing that these people wanted. Either an empty seat or Phillies fans, no Diamondbacks fans. And there ended up being a lot of Phillies fans at Game 3, but there was always going to be a lot of Phillies fans showing up to these games. These people spending money just to quote-unquote help their team didn't really do anything or impact that in any way. So I do respect the passion, I will say that. I love how insanely into their team Phillies fans are, even if it makes them look like assholes, but I still just think buying a bunch of cheap seats is a little loser-like behavior. I'm sure there were D-backs fans who would have taken those seats otherwise. It's just obviously a very petty and unnecessary / douchebag thing to do, as there were some empty seats scattered around in the upper decks of Chase Field during the game. But again, it really is mostly harmless at the end of the day. It's not that crazy, and it's not like it helped the Phillies in any way, as their offense really was shut down, able to squeak home just one run via a wild pitch, with Ketel Marte walking the D-backs off in the ninth off of Craig Kimbrell, who just is so not trustworthy in non-safe situations. Even the official Arizona Diamondbacks Twitter account chimed in on the whole thing. A Twitter user tweeted out a picture showing behind one of the dugouts, bringing up that there were some empty seats, tweeting, "Open seats behind the dugout in the NLCS is pathetic," only for the D-backs Twitter account to reply and say, "Guess certain fans shouldn't have bought tickets they weren't planning to use." Mind you, this fan didn't even tag the D-backs Twitter account, so in order for them to have found this tweet was for them to either search it up or have someone tell them about it, and they of course took action by throwing immense shade toward Philly fans. But yeah, that caught me off guard, the literal official D-backs Twitter account commenting on this. Philly fans, man, doesn't really get any crazier. Let me know what you think, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.